Well, hello and welcome to another This OMG fishing video. Today we're going to have a fly tying seminar and we're going to do mice. Trout season is just about to start and bass season is right around the corner, so what could be better than getting a little leap on stocking up your tackle box with mice patterns. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at tying the master splinter fly, the gurgler. If you just change this up a little bit, it's what I call the poor man's moorish mouse, and that's one of the flies that we'll be looking at as well. You can tie these in any color you want. You know, there's a tan, black, green, gray, brown. It's one of those flies that just has an endless opportunity for modification, matching. I don't know, you can match the hatch on it, the mice. Anything in a dark pattern is usually pretty good. I do one in a tan because I just find that in my area here, tan seems to, for surface flies, seems to be a really good workable color. So please stick around and we will tie some of these on. I'll get them on the vise and we'll get at it. Thank you. So as with all my flies, the emphasis that I'm doing here is on simplicity. Making flies that aren't really that difficult to do, have a bit of a challenge, but I think most people can figure them out and get them tied and enjoy them. So the first fly that I'm going to do is the master splinter fly. It's a pretty basic fur and foam fly, and then I'm just going to do a variation of this, or this is a variation of the next one, which is what I call the poor man's moorish mouse. And the first thing is the hook, just using the usual number 2 streamer hook. I tend to find that number 2 is is fairly versatile for just about every streamer that I use, just based on the size of the bodies of water. I've seen people tie this up onto fairly large sizes, like a 2-aught hook. So you're looking at probably, maybe 1.5, 2 times that size. And they all work. They all work for aggressive largemouth. They'll work for aggressive smallies. This will work for trout. This will probably work for pike if you make it big enough. It's just an all-around fun fly. So we'll get started. Like I said, we've got the number 2 streamer. I'm going to use a little heavier line here. I've got a 3-aught uni-thread in black. And the reason that I'm going to use the heavier thread is some of this foam gets a little bit thick, and we just want to make sure that that we can cinch it down properly and not cut the foam in half. One of the things that you definitely don't want to do is shred your foam. So the first part that we'll do here is we'll figure out a tail. A little piece kicking around here, sort of length of the hook shaft. Then you just peel off some of this fur, and you can keep this fur in your pile and use it as dubbing. So there's not a lot of waste going on here, and you just want to have it so that there's just a little tuft at the end of the tail here, just to give it a little bit of drag in the water and to give it a little bit of a visual presence. So I'm just going to tie that in. It doesn't matter if there's like little bits of fluff sticking up here and there. It's a mouse. They're not going to scrutinize it that much when it goes floating by. So that's just a piece of rabbit zonker, just tied in at the tail. The next part is just some craft foam. I'm going to use black craft foam. This is pretty thin stuff. I'm just using the thinner material because it's easier to get. You just go to any craft shop and it's there. So I'm just going to take my thread, bring it up, and I'm just going to kind of attach that on top, and I'm going to bring it down to where it meets the tail at the bend in the hook, and then I'm just going to really kind of cinch that down, get it so that it wraps around that hook nice, and away we are. And that just gets some extra buoyancy on there, some extra body for the fly, and we will just set that on there. So far so good. We'll just make sure that this body wraps around properly on here. So it's probably not even half an inch thick. You can vary this up. This might be a bit thick for here, but I just find that once you get the body on it, which is again some more rabbit zonker, which is a crosscut rabbit zonker. You can use the regular. I use crosscut. I just find that crosscut's a lot easier to deal with, and it lays flatter on the body. So we'll just tie that in, that back there, bring our thread up to the front. Like I said, it doesn't have to be absolutely beautiful. And just palmer that all the way up to the front. Keep some tension on that. And then we'll just tie it off. Cut that piece off. Just bring that back a bit. Clean that up. And that's that. So the next step, you're going to want to try and, I'll just wet my fingers on this one, just part these hairs a little bit, try and even them out on either side. It just makes folding the body over a lot easier to do. And palmering them back helps as well. So we're just going to take that up to the front, make sure that we're same here. I'm just going to fold that down, and I'm just going to cinch that on there. Make sure that that looks all right. I'm just going to knot on that if I can get it through. Just to hold everything where I want it. Okay. That's that. We can add a little drop of super glue, just to hold that in place. So the next step is, well, you can do this a couple of different ways. I like to try and add a little eye into it. So what I've done is I've just cut another piece of white foam. You could use whatever color you want. Just a little strip. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to put it on here. I'm just going to fold this back like so, just to create a head for this mouse. And I'm going to cinch this down as well. That's okay if you get some hair sticking out here and there. You can come in and just clean that up however you want, whenever you want. I'm just going to come in, I'm going to whip finish that. It's a mouse, they're fuzzy, you'll get hair kind of straggling all over the place. I don't think it's a big deal. You know what, just come in, you can snip all that out. And there you are. So you're saying, well, I don't get what you just did there. So what I have done is I've put the white piece sticking out. So I'm just going to trim that off flush. You'll see that just forms the eye. So I've just cut the edges off of this fly just to shape the head of that mouse so it's a little more mouse-like. And you can see that that's pretty much the pattern that you have there. I'm just going to quickly just these ears a little nip and tuck. That's the master splinter, and you can make this body size bigger, smaller. You can get a longer shanked hook, whatever you want, however you want this to look. You know, a short bodied mouse, a long bodied mouse. I think that this probably has a pretty good proportion to it. I did this guy here with a super long tail, just to mix it up a little bit. But I think typically what you're going to look at is something with that ratio of body to tail. So the next one that we're going to look at is pretty much the same style of a fly. We're going to use the number 2 hook. Again, this is a foam body fly. So what I've done is I've gone ahead, I've actually doubled up on the foam, and I'm just gonna taper the end on this one a little bit, just so that it's not as bulky, because now we're dealing with a lot more of foam. So we just put a little angle on that. That'll come in handy for when we attach it to here. So the next fly that we are doing, very similar to the master splinter, and this fly is typically tied with a deer hair body, and I would tie it with a deer hair body, but like I said, I just want to keep these flies as simple as possible. So we'll just tie down the base. We will get ourselves a piece for the tail. This one here, you can, I'm just going to leave the, I think I'll just make the same. I'll just strip that tail back. Oops. And we'll just add that on. No static today. We just had snow, so it's a little dry out. Okay, so same thing, same as the master splinter. Here's our little tail, and here we're going to just tie in our body. I'm not going to go as far with this one as I did with the master splinter. Again, having a pretty heavy thread is critical to getting this fly. Oops. We've got to put a lot of tension on that just to get it working right. And again, you can put some super glue on this if you want at this point in time. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go straight to wrapping some fur. Like I said, this is typically done with deer hair, spun deer hair. I'm not doing it that way just because it's a little bit tedious. And like I said, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible with these flies. So again, we'll just get this guy laying the right way here. Palmer it. Excuse the noise there. The kids are home from school due to COVID. Let's just get that on there. And let's just pull that back. Alright, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So then, like we did with the other one, separate the hair, pull this piece up. Okay, so we'll just fasten that down to the hook. We'll add some super glue to that. And all we do is we just cut this back. Make sure that we get the right shape here. Come in and we'll whip finish that. And there you have it. I guess I shouldn't call this the poor man's Moorish mouse. I should call this the lazy man's, because that's really what it amounts to for me. I'm just being lazy, and we can just give this head a little bit of shape. Cut in those corners. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to sit on the water and make some noise. So that's the second fly. That is your Moorish mouse done with rabbit instead of deer hair. Like I said, it's pretty easy. It's almost like you're making a master splinter. You're just kind of not doing the finishing step on it. Equally as effective. Like I said, I've added more foam to this one, so this one will be a lot more buoyant. This one will sit higher than the master splinter. So our lazy man's Moorish mouse will sit higher in the water. This will sit medium in the water. I had somebody ask me to make these up for them because they're eagerly anticipating the arrival of trout season and bass season. So I'm going to make up a batch and ship these along. So if anybody would like some of these, just get in touch with me and I'll be happy to see what we can work out. And I do believe that my next video is going to be fairly similar to this. Maybe we'll pick up on the other mouse patterns, but it's going to be more directed towards doing a cicada. As we all know that this is the year of the cicada, so I'm going to address those in a fly. And again, it'll be simple. So, like I said, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. Subscribe would be even better. And if you want to watch any future fly tying seminars, just hit the notification button. That'd be great. And yeah, like I said, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave the comments. And get out there, get doing some fishing.
That's what I'm talking about right there.